Forever. Dog.
Is this story or like the myth, is that real? Because I always wonder, like, what are
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
kept trying to think, like, are there stories that, you know, as a black person, like a black American, do we have? And I keep trying to think of,
John Henry.
like,
Yeah.
dude, that's the only thing I think of. I was trying to think of, like, who would I like if I had kids? What story would I tell them? You know, like, what's the American?
We would tell them the story of Black Panther and the
in the mythical world of Wakanda.
Yes.
I feel like isn't John Henry the only? I mean, is there another Black African American myth legend, kind of like that?
Right.
I don't know. I'm Googling right now, and it's taking a while.
I mean, John Henry is one, so that there's at least one. There's at least one.
But was it? What was his?
Like,
what was his thing? Like he could
he
hammer
could like
stuff?
build. He was hammering. He was a railroad worker, so he could like hammer nails faster than anybody else with his big, steel hammer.
So he could work harder than every. He could
work faster
Wait,
than everybody.
So his thing is he could work really hard and fast. That's
Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that it? Is that it? He just
Don't belittle the story of John Henry.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not. No, I'm like.
He helped connect the West Coast
Like,
and the East. He's an American legend, man.
I can't remember.
Doesn't he die?
If Kat,
Don't he?
while
He
we
did
were
faster
watching this,
than
was talking
than the
about
drill.
knowing the story of Changa, but it is a real story. Like the story has existed. And there are like references to it. There's like connection to the Chinese lunar exploration program and talking about it with that. Like there's, it runs deep.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
don't look it up. Do not look up African American folk tales and folklore. Do not.
Why not?
Look it
Why
up.
not?
You went from don't dog
Because-
John Henry and then say don't look up African folklore.
Some of the names of some of these things I don't believe have been created by black people, and some of the names sound so offensive that I'm like, some of these names seem so utterly disrespectful.
All right, I'm
like,
about to look it up.
There's
just
no way
because I
black
gotta
person
know.
do not.
You said don't look up specifically African folklore. Is that what you said?
Do not
African
Google
folklore.
African American folk tales.
African American folk tales.
African American.
Okay.
There's one animal called the beer rabbit and the blank baby.
Oh yeah.
The Negro baby?
No, Bray. Begins with 3 letters.
It
Just
begins
hard.
with 3 letters? What does that even mean? Is
I don't know,
it
but
3
it
letters
says
long?
tar baby.
Oh, tar.
Tar baby.
Got it. Yeah, well, that's not fun.
Why is this on this list? Oh my god!
I don't know why.
Okay.
It's surely why are we talking about?
wanted to have
we
some-
should be talking about Chinese folklore, not. Why are we talking about African American folklore? Like seriously,
Because I was saying this movie was very inspiring. Because I was like, it would like looking at this, like, oh, what would be our tradition? I could tell my kids. Like that was inspiring me to.
I
look
don't know,
up
man.
history
I feel like you took
of
this
us.
convo over the moon.
Wow. Here's the thing. I knew that's what you was gonna say.
What do you mean?
I was waiting for you to say.
No, I'm just saying he's gone on a tangent. It just feels like this conversation has gone over the moon.
Wow.
Jerah, if you want a recommendation,
Thank you,
look,
Kim.
we're going to do
Kim,
some cross-cultural recommendation. My good friend recommends a book written by Tomi Adeyemi, and it's called Children of Blood and Bone, and she is being heralded as the new J.K. Rowling. Let's put a disclaimer on that.
Well,
yeah. And she pulls from African folklore. Right.
This looks so cool. This looks Because I'm going to the bookstore today because Amazon has lost my book, my Barack Obama book. So I'm going to go buy it in person.
Okay.
I wonder where it is.
Store.
I wonder if it's over the moon.
Just saying, they sent Gucci. I got Gucci's Guide to Greatness, and I wanted Barack Obama. That's the two worlds I want to live in.
James, nobody noticed what you did.
Nope, it's fine.
You know why? Because we were off track, but Kimberly took us back on track. And now we're here on Earth.
All right.
We're not.
No. Okay. Okay.
Over the moon.
Maybe we're... Oh.
All right. Let's just start. I'm over this.
Jonathan Raylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can jump in Hollywood. Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
No barriers.
That's the quote.
That's the quote.
That is the quote.
Honestly,
That's the quote.
It is.
Honestly, that's real. No barriers. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yep. Also, I love that he never went head first. He just put his hands up and give himself some.
He's like, I'm not a damn fool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I run through walls. I'm a fool, but I'm not a damn fool.
I'm not a damn fool. For those listening for the first time, this incredible voice you're listening to now is Jonathan Braylock.
Why are you doing this now? Why are you doing this now? Like, why? I thought it was a one-time thing, but it's been persistent.
There's two other hosts of this podcast.
Don't do this anymore.
This frustrated, tired voice you hear is Jerah
And the absolute music to your ears right now is James the Third.
Oh, and we have an incredible guest today.
Wait, let me get my drums.
Kim Truong is in the house.
Oh, I'm sorry. I introduced myself.
No.
James
I was
did.
waiting to see if Bray was going to do it because he typically does.
Oh yeah, I usually let. It's because I get all the guests, and James gets one every once in 3 years. But I'm glad you got a great guest today.
I feel like he's saying this like it's shade, but people don't know the behind the scenes. And we don't need to get to the behind the scenes because that's not what the show is about.
Hilarious.
Kim is
God.
a fantastic writer, comedian, and she is the co-host of the podcast Crushed Fictionally, which I had the honor of being on. We got to talk about Beetlejuice. It was fun.
Yes.
You had James on to talk about Beetlejuice?
I got to choose,
all right,
Jerah, what I wanted to talk about, and it was Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Okay. I didn't know you were a Beetlejuice aficionado.
Thank you very much.
It was a great conversation.
Have you been to the Beetlejuice bar, James?
You know I have.
There's a Beetlejuice bar?
Yeah.
There is. It moved. It was. I liked it better when it was at the other location.
Oh, I missed it. There's one in LA, and I think they just built one in New York now, I think.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been living under a rock. Yeah. Do they just play Harry Belafonte all day, every day?
It does play sometimes, but it's called.
Yeah, it's not called the
Beetle House, and it's Tim Burton themed. So
so it's wild.
Yeah. So Jack Skellington's walking around. Willy Wonka.
But the vibe is Beetlejuice, though, right? I feel like when you go inside, it's like very Beetlejuicy.
The drinks are $47.
Yeah,
that's not an exaggeration. That's how much they all cost.
That sounds like something Tim Burton would do.
It wasn't Hollywood, But anyway, we're not talking about Beetlejuice.
You're right.
Beetlejuice.
You're right. We're not. We're talking about
Beetlejuice.
You're not supposed to say
we said it 3 times.
No.
Yeah.
We are talking about Over the Moon, the 2000 Netflix animated film that was written by the late Audrey Wells, which sounds like Jerah was already mad about.
Yeah, he was.
I didn't say who I was mad at.
Directed by Glenn Payne.
That's who he was mad about.
Listen, I mean, we also could talk about the directors, but who am I to talk about people who created art?
He read the name Audrey Wells and said, "There's just no way." And then
I'm not gonna lie, I did the same thing. So I watched all the way through to the end, and I saw. I always pay attention to those credits at the end, and when I saw that it was a white name that came up, I was like, "Oh." So I did do that, and I was like, "Well, maybe she's like half Asian," and then I Googled
and then
it.
you went to the wiki and you were like, all right.
No, rest in peace.
But here's the thing. She's a good writer and she knows how to do this. She wrote The Hate You Give. She's not black. And The Hate You Give was really good too.
Yeah, she did a good job.
No, rest in peace. She passed away 2 years ago. So I just when I saw the name, I was like, because I saw the directors first and I was like, okay.
That's true. The director is a white man, Glenn Keane.
He put himself in the movie. He put himself in the movie.
Well, you do, but you do that when you do animation, especially with animation.
But not when you're not a part of the culture you're talking about.
I'm gonna do a voice.
You're saying that like he was one of the stars. He's not like one of the stars of the movie.
He's the comedic doggy thing.
Usually, for me, the directors have a really funny. Like a really funny, fun.
Wait a minute, he's the dog?
He's not the I thought Ken Jeong.
Yeah, wait, who is Ken Jeong?
Oh, my bad.
What part was he?
Because I was like, wait, was that not Ken Jeong? Because I
was like, that's Ken Jeong. I'm pretty sure that's very recognizable voice.
Wait, but why doesn't it say? I'm looking at the IMDb right now.
It says Space Dog, but I think that's the like.
Oh, that's the Chow Chow.
Oh, the big dog.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Okay, my bad.
Although
that's like the like dog that was like.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
at the end of the movie.
My bad.
And he's also rail worker number 3.
Yeah, that was a fun part though. Rail worker was a funny part.
You're right. Okay.
Well, so this movie actually stars Cathy Ang.
Got my boy John Chow in it.
Oh, she's in Rami.
Yeah.
She's a White Castle cashier. I think this is her biggest thing, like by far, right? Like not even close.
Gotta be.
Yeah. But it also stars Phillipa Soo, who was in Hamilton. Ken Jeong, as we said. John Chow was the father. Was Margaret Cho the mother?
One of the aunties.
Oh, she was one of the aunties. Got it.
Who was the voice of this? The
Sandra Oh was in this too.
Yeah, she's the stepmom.
Oh, she was great. Yeah, this is a packed cast.
Who's Bungie? She was so good.
Ruthie Ann Miles is the mother.
The music was so good. Love a good musical.
It is a musical. This isn't a Disney movie though, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
Is this just Netflix?
It's Netflix
studio. Got it.
All
I was wondering if this was somewhere else first, but
I feel like it was, and I could be wrong. I didn't do enough research, but I feel like this was a Chinese origin, maybe like produced film. But I could be dead wrong.
Okay. Wikipedia
but it does
says
follow Disney structure.
Yeah, it does. It says the film was produced by Pearl Studio and Netflix
which I believe
Animation.
is
Pearl Studio
Chinese.
is it? Yes, correct.
Yeah.
There you go. Right now it has a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Should be higher.
79?
It should be higher.
Should be higher.
This is offensive.
This is offensive.
Offended.
Should be higher.
Wow,
that's insane. Really?
It says, although many of Over the Moon's narrative ingredients will seem familiar, the film's absorbing animation offers colorful compensation. I never understand them being like, oh, some of these narrative devices are familiar. It's like, yeah, that's story. That's what you're talking about is story. There's like very few narrative devices. There's a couple of them, and that's that.
Yeah.
I think this was the first time I had a space adventure on the moon with this folklore. Like, I don't think that's ever been told before. So
absolutely
kind of weird for them to be like, a little familiar.
Stupid.
Well, there's a parent that passed away, so it's a little familiar.
It was familiar to me.
Oh, you mean every animated movie ever? Every child, every children's movie has one parent that has passed away.
10, 15 minutes in, when the mom when she like leaned Kat was like, "Oh, what time is it?" And like paused it and looked at how far into the movie it gotten. She was like, "If they kill her, I'm gonna be so mad." I was like,
Of course they're going to kill her.
Of course.
She's gonna die.
Moms don't
No.
last in children's movies. Moms don't make
it is usually the mom too.
Because that's sad as shit.
Because
Nobody
they're
give a
like
fuck about no dad.
Yo, I was reading somewhere that like, yeah, it's not impactful to kill the dad. It's really impactful to kill the mom.
But the
I would disagree with that.
Onward, the dad was the one who died.
Yeah.
Well, what about
I was gonna say
this? Brave. What about every other Disney?
No, you're right. It is usually the mom, like Little Mermaid.
We didn't even see her mom die. She just wasn't there.
Yeah, you're
she
right.
just didn't
Beauty
show
and the
up
Beast
no
too.
more.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
was the Beauty and the Beast mom?
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast.
I was gonna say this movie felt familiar to me because in the
Cinderella.
late aughts, I wrote a one-act play about a little black boy building a rocket to go to the moon. And when he goes to the moon, the man in the moon is his father.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
that.
I have it. It's a short play. And it's
Well, you can't do that now. So you should make him.
You should
make him go
still do it.
Make him go to the water.
I can still do it. It's
No, we already been to the moon. They're gonna be like, it's too familiar.
They've already
when
been
I
to
was
the moon.
when I was in third grade, I wrote a short story that was about the boy who saved the sun, and what winds up happening, he finds out at the end, is that Plutonians stole the sun because they were jealous. They were jealous of all the other planets and how close the sun was to their planet. But
That's
Pluto's
cute.
all the way at the end, so they stole the sun.
see, and then Pluto was left out. They were asked out.
Yeah, I ain't write shit like that. I was doing
right, go.
Batman stuff. So y'all want to hear some Batman superhero stories? I got you, but I don't write no missions to the moon.
This movie is essentially about a young. I mean, she's a teenager now, right? Or is she like
the age
middle
I
school?
never really
I
got
think she's
down
still
because
young.
I feel like she's like 10 years old.
I was thinking 10 or 11. I think she's
or
still
like,
young.
or
Wait,
yeah.
10?
Yeah,
12
I thought
maybe?
So.
Max 12. Max.
Yeah,
I feel
maximum
like
12.
Because the only time indicator we had was when they say 4
4
years
years.
later, right?
But
and
she
she's
was like,
very young.
yeah, that's true.
When the mom and dad are singing to her, she looks like she's like 6.
I was mad that they did that 4 years later because it was the only time where they tell us there's time,
Right.
but we see the passage of time throughout that whole song.
Exactly, because there's a time lapse from when they first start telling her the story to when the mom dies. There's like, it seems like that was like 4 years.
Yeah,
Right,
but then Kat and I were talking about it. It was like, oh, they must have done that because they were like, we would be mad at the dad if he just immediately moved on to another woman. So we
Right.
needed to know that
That's
that
true.
4 years had passed.
Yeah, that's true.
We had markers because her hair was different and also the bunny grew. Like
Yeah, the bunny
the
was
rabbit
bigger.
was bigger. So it was like we didn't need to.
grow.
All right, it made me mad. I was like, man, why are you going?
I don't know why it made you mad.
It made me upset. I was just like, nah, fuck this movie. It turned me off the
What?
movie.
James, come on. James just went over the rail. Yeah,
All
I
right.
can't deal with this.
Yeah, James, you're over the moon.
Okay.
Oh no.
God.
Oh no.
This will
We're back
never
here.
stop.
Uh,
This will
Okay.
never.
Well, a girl who lost her mother and then her father 4 years after the passing of her mom seems like he's about to get remarried, and she wants to build a rocket ship to the moon to prove that the moon goddess, what's the moon goddess's name? Sorry.
Changa.
Changa is real, and that Changa has never, let go of her love, and so her dad shouldn't either. Her dad shouldn't move on, and we get this fantastical adventure.
If you like podcasts, you'll love Stitcher. The all-new Stitcher is the easiest way to discover and listen to podcasts for free across iOS and Android.
Yeah, with Stitcher, you can access your latest episodes, downloads, and favorite shows all in one convenient spot. It's podcast listening made simple, the way it should be.
Stitcher is home to all your favorite podcasts, from classics like The Flophouse, Race Chaser, and How Did This Get Made, to new hit shows such as Double Threat, Scam Goddess, and of course, your favorite, Black Men Can't Jump.
Listen, Stitcher has been rebuilt from the ground up with features and settings as unique as I am. Not so much James, but me, definitely. So you can listen with more control. Choose your download preferences per show. Listen at virtually any speed.
With Stitcher, you can listen to your podcast anytime, anywhere. You could be listening at your desk, on our revamped web player, or on your phone. We've never sounded better, so give the all-new Stitcher a try. Download it at the App Store or at StitcherApp.com/Hollywood.
Shall we do initial thoughts?
Yes.
And then, Kimberly, do you want to start?
Yeah, would you like to start, Kim?
Okay, well, first of all, this movie opens with a chow chow taking a bite of the moon. So I immediately was like, leave me the hell here. I want to watch this forever.
Hilarious.
I had a chow chow growing up, so I have an affinity for chow chows. And the funniest part, how serendipitous is this, is that I was driving around yesterday before I watched Over the Moon. And if I see someone walking a chow chow on the street, I will like hit the brakes. I will like stop and gawk at the dog. If I can get out and pet the dog, I will do that. I didn't do this yesterday, but I saw a man walking a chow. And I feel like seeing a chow is kind of like, pun intended, blue moon. It's a very rare event, I feel like. And so I saw this chow and I was like, oh my God, a chow. I have a very strong affinity to chow. So when this movie opened with a chow, the cutest freaking chow you've ever seen in your life, eating the moon, I was like, oh, well, fuck, I'm done. They've trapped me. So I really enjoyed this movie. A little bit of background. I am not Chinese. I'm Vietnamese, although technically, arguably, I do have Chinese roots, but I'm not as familiar with Chinese culture as someone who's actually Chinese. But like, I feel like I'm Chinese adjacent, and for Vietnamese culture, we share a lot of cultural things with the Chinese. And there were definite moments in the movie, the aunties, the crab boil, like these are things where I'm like, they just took it out of my life and inserted it into a movie. The competitive aunties competing over the food, the crazy grandpa who just utters things. These are so true to life. And I had an emotional breakdown the entire movie. As you can see, my eyes are puffy. No one can see this as a podcast, but like, I promise you, like, I was just an emotional wreck the entire time. I also am like, full disclosure, I also have lost my mother. So like watching anything with a parental loss, I'm like, I mean, I wasn't as young as poor Fei Fei, but it's definitely one of those movies that really grabbed me, and I had a good time.
Yeah. Aww.
It really was. It was so good. I mean, I'll be really quick. Like first of all, the animation style I really loved. There was the colors, beautiful. Everything. It was beautiful. It was everything about it was incredible. They really captured like the majesty of like where they lived too. Like that stork, that kind of little place where she was with like the lily pond and like that tree. Oh, it's magical.
I think it does. I agree with that. Like, I think it does. Like, correct me if this sounds like wrong to say, but I don't speak on behalf of any people. But I think what Coco did for like Mexican culture and the Mexican people, this movie accomplishes for the Chinese, which is like really capturing the magic of the folklore, the magic of the culture, the magic of the food, like the atmosphere. You watch it and you're like, it's grand.
I completely agree. I was definitely thinking about Coco when I was watching this movie because they're both in this same realm, and I am mad actually that this has 79%.
I know. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do I report a crime?
The singing was incredible. The storyline was awesome, and like it's like a really this is what children movies do, but like they have these lessons that are like kind of like really like adults need to hear them, you listen and you're like, oh yeah. So
the learning to love someone new, I think is oh,
So
like
good.
if you don't walk away going, I've been living my life, and you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I've been living my life in all the wrong ways. If
Right.
if you don't hear that song and like something in you doesn't change, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe you were already like,
Yeah.
yes, I believe in this philosophy, but to hear them sing that song to each other and the sibling love. Oh, I mean, Chin, come on now. If you
I
don't love
know.
Chin, I want my sister. Like
Oh,
he,
Definitely cried during that part.
I mean, I'm about to weep right now just thinking about it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was like super fun. It was really funny. I loved the characters. Like sometimes those comedic side characters like are annoying because you know that they're trying to make them funny, but it just was like Ken Jeong.
He was so funny
Yeah.
as that little goby creature,
Yeah.
whatever he's supposed to be. It was so, just like
Yeah.
the
And they didn't
Guys-
have
It was
him
great.
in it that much, which I think
Right,
I
that's
think that
true
was
too.
key because I am every time I watch a kids movie, because I guess I watch too many of them, the animals are going to come in at one point, and what either one of the animals going to be really strong or really dumb. We got the strong bunny in this one, and then there's going to be some type of mythical creature which is super annoying, but like needs to overcome something as well. And I was like, all right, when is it coming? But I felt like they used him so well because he wasn't overbearing, and he wasn't just straight up like an annoying idiot. Like I feel like sometimes you get one of these characters, they're just so silly and so dumb, and it's like, but I liked him a lot, man.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think he walks a good line. I think he almost kind of, if you guys seen Inside Out, I'm sure, but like
Yes.
Bing Bong, right? He's like
Yeah.
that person to bring her on this part of her journey, a very specific part of her journey back to Lunaria, back to wherever they left her ass, right? The biker chicks, and then
Yeah.
she has to get back.
I love that
Yeah.
they're biker
Yo.
chicks.
Bing bong though.
I love that they're biker chicks. Like it's just
Yeah.
I know. That's hilarious. I thought that was
but
great.
they look like Angry Birds, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just let
They
this
did
whole
look
thing
like
go.
Angry
Like I'm just here with it.
Yeah.
Like these joints look straight up like Angry Birds.
I love it.
I'm like, I'm not sure this is Chinese culture. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of the Chinese people, but I'm not sure how big biker culture is in the Chinese culture. But what do I know?
I really enjoyed this movie because I also have like a jealousy that I think manifests itself into like learning more, because I think as an African American, I get very jealous that at least for me, it's like I don't know a lot of these folklore things about our own people and like a lot of traditions. Like I feel like we will watch movies, and a lot of the movies around Black people, it's about voodoo or like Wakanda, which is a made up world. But watching this movie, I get to learn about a culture I never knew about, and that is super exciting. But it also makes me so sad at the same time because I'm like, oh shit! Like even Crazy Rich Asians is like watching the wedding sequence and that. I'm like, this shit is fucking cool. And like, what is ours? I guess it's jumping the broom. But when I think about where jumping the broom came from, that came from slavery, and I'm like, fuck,
Right.
So I was really excited to see this. I was really excited by, I think for me, the songs, because I love a good song. I think, was it Luminary? Is that the name of that song? When they first get to the moon? Ultra Luminary.
Oh, the intro song
Ultra
for
Luminary.
Changa.
Love that song. I loved Hey Boy when they're like ping-ponging. Thought that song was fire.
Oh my God, that
the
was
song,
so
the rap,
good.
Fire.
Oh,
And also, honestly, just like the visuals of it, I thought was so beautiful. Like they had so many, I think cinematic shots. Like Chunga, when she is in like the depression world kind of thing, and then Fei Fei goes, but then she sees Fei Fei and she's like, oh well, you can't be here. And then that's cool wide shot of like Fei Fei kind of like in a fetal position, but then Chunga like turning and like she's going in slow motion with her white dress, and then her hair is flowing in the background on this like black screen. I was like, this looks beautiful. So I just really like this movie. And now tradition, I'm playing the song in the background. Y'all can't hear it, but it's playing in the
Don't do this.
background. You know what I'm saying? Come on, baby. And my man gives her the business when he's playing the ping pong. I was like, yeah, boy, you good. You said you were good. He should have came in third. Don't forget.
Well, I loved this movie for the same reasons that everyone has said. So there's not much more for me to say. I like I said, I wrote that thing in like 12 years ago that I was thinking about the whole time I was watching.
Why didn't I make my movie?
Like love. Well, it was a play, and so it had the life that it had. But I loved watching her like build the thing and be super smart and figure out how to do that. I love all of the different spiritual things that were happening. And then also just generally love, I don't know if you guys do this, but every time like a kid goes on a fantasy journey in something, I always try to think of like, oh, like what's the thing, like what's the story that's like really happening? Like did they see it? Did they not? Like what elements of it are real? And I loved sort of tracking for this, like that, like it was like the bunny ran away and does not come back, right? Like essentially we see the bunny run away. The bunny stays on the moon, so she doesn't find the bunny. You know what I mean? Like, and there are all these things like, and the bunny running away could be like letting go of realizing she needs to let go of the mother, and like, and you know, obviously she and her brother are away, and so what happens while they're away, and then they come back, and the you know, the evidence of it burns away. So like, it's like how much of that was real and what's the real story. So I had a lot of fun, like kind of watching that and trying to track some of that stuff. Loved all of the vocal performances were super fun and just generally enjoyed like the journey of it all. So
good.
It was incredible. So yeah, this movie, I guess it starts with her family telling her the kind of legend of the moon goddess Chang'e, who she took like a potion for immortality or something like that.
Like 2 pills or something.
Yeah, there are 2 pills that could give you immortality. But one's for her and one's for
her lover.
But she takes both of them for whatever the reason is that they explain in.
Yeah, I wish they would have kind of closed the loop.
Yeah, it's like wait a minute.
I like that they introduced like no, she did it on purpose. Like you know, like there's
debate about it.
Yeah, debate about what happens, what's real, and what really happened.
That's what the aunties are kind of arguing about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does she get stuck? Does she get stuck on the moon, or she just lives there?
Like waits for him to return to her is essentially what she's going to do.
Right.
You know, I don't like to think about the logic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, but there's not. I don't think there's supposed to
logic.
Be. There's not. Yeah, there's not supposed to be logic.
Okay. I'm like, I just like to know she on the moon. I don't know how she got there. It's like, look, she on the moon. She got a bunch of little happy creatures there on the moon. That's all. Like. Make it be Gumdrop in Candyland again. Yes. You know, like it was so bright. I was like, this reminds me like a real life Candyland. I was like, I don't know what none of these little creatures are.
Well,
I have no clue.
Well, that stuff is made up for the movie. I think. I don't think that's right. That's not.
Yeah, I loved that.
I don't know what they were.
The creatures.
They look like candies that came to life. I don't know.
Yeah, they like little gumdrops.
Were they moon
Except
cakes?
for that one random.
Yeah,
like jelly moon cakes.
There were moon cakes.
And then
the other. There were like physical moon cakes that were moving, and then the others were like not necessarily built like moon cakes. They were just
they were just fucking cute. That's
globs,
what they were.
Like
Exactly right. Just a bunch of little cute things. But
right.
Yeah, we get this, you know, this really nice song that they're singing, and then like as that's going on, we're seeing like the mom like grab her head and then like, you know, falter, and then she has a cane at some point. And I do we know what it is that she's dying of? I just assumed it was like cancer or something, but I don't know.
She's dying of being in a children's movie.
That's not why
the moms die no matter what. It's never justified. Like every time you watch one of these kids' movies, the moms are
Bambi's actually
just never.
Bambi's extremely justified.
Well, Bambi's different. Like Bambi's just sadness. But we don't know at all what she dies from, right? Like
too sick.
No, it's kind of like it's kind of like that moment in Up. right? Where the wife just slowly, we just start to see her like.
And they got to break.
Well, she dies of old age.
Yeah, but like she falls at one point, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Which indicates like, oh, there's something serious going on.
Yeah,
and then before I know it,
they have to
she's
break
dead.
their, they break their fund, their rainy day fund, because she's sick. Like, don't they need that money for like she's sick?
Don't bring up Come on,
Kim brought up
Come on. Don't bring up
I'm
man.
sorry.
That opening is so traumatic.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, but I also like that in this song, right before the song, they sort of set up like that the father is a little bit more like he's like I believe in science and the world, but if your mother believes in it, then it's real, So they set up this sort of thing of like that the mother being there helps the belief of magic in the home,
Yeah.
Which is great because she then becomes both. We see her; she's both. She's like super good at science, like super smart, but then also believes in the kind of magic of the folklore.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't like the dad.
What?
I don't like the dad at any
Why?
point. Actually,
He was so sweet.
I didn't like him at. Hear me out. I did not think he was. The thing is, I didn't think he was sweet. I really didn't. I thought like, he like loved his kids, but I thought his head was in the clouds. I thought like he did the true dad thing. He didn't defend her against the aunts. He didn't tell this daughter that he was about to get married until this woman shows up with a kid, and the kid is like, "We about to be, you about to be my brother, my sister." Like, what the hell? The dad never apologizes for that information.
But the kid might have known. Like they
I
might
don't
have
know.
told the kid, and then they were gonna tell her, and then she was being all stank face about it.
I don't actually think
he told her already after the woman was in the house. If you ever had, no, dog.
I don't think it actually went down like that. I think for the sake of
that's what the movie told
I think
me.
for the sake of time they were speeding it up, but like we already saw when he first introduced her, I don't think she was moving in that same day. I think it was like it happened late.
They was already mad. They was already engaged. It was the same
But
day.
there's a moment, and it's very easy to miss. There's a moment where he goes to, it seems like he wants to tell her something. He wants to tell his daughter something. And he gauges her reaction and he decides against it. It's very quick. It happens right when we meet Mrs. Zong.
If you got kids, you tell the kid. This is my thing. For as long he been dating this woman so long behind these poor girls.
No.
You don't say that.
I don't think we're supposed to take that.
That's true.
I don't think we're supposed.
It's not behind her back. Like you don't like. At what point do you? Wait, but hold up.
You tell. For real. You could do one or two things. You could tell the kid before you start dating, "Hey, I'm thinking about this." You gauge, or before you're about to propose to the person. You say, "Hey, I'm dating somebody. I'm going to propose." How long?
I think she knew they were dating. I really do think for the sake of time they were trying to like they missed some beats, but I think we're supposed to assume that she comes around. She kind of knows the daughter knows what's up. She sees the hand touching.
Same day.
I know it's one day, but it's a movie.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not the authority on all. I'm not the authority on all things Asian, but Asian people tend to get married very quick. Like, they don't fuck around. They're like, okay, you're my woman. Like, it's like the courtship is like a very quick thing. It's kind of like we lock this shit down, and then before you know it, you're married. Like, especially like older generation Asians. Like, I mean, dating. I mean, it's the culturally, it's like incomprehensible to I think people of our generation, American Westernized. But I'm not joking. Like Asians, older Asian generation. Like my uncle, he, God bless my aunt. May she rest in peace. She died, and then I want to say they don't want to be alone, man. Like I want to say maybe a year later, before I knew it, the guy was married. Like,
yeah,
I just need my man to have one scene where he's like, again, for real. It was just like, I know he had that one thing of, do you feel lonely? And I'm like, cool. But like, he had apologized for leaving the daughter, like leaving her out to just like the aunties making fun of her one true thing that she loves that attaches her to her mom still. I didn't like the dad. I'm sorry. The movie's great. I didn't like the dad. We can keep it like, I'm sorry.
You did. You know what? To be fair, you did say you were going to say something controversial, and then you said it.
As we talk about the movie, think about every instance this dad shows up, and when he could have done a thing, and maybe that is a cultural thing I don't understand, but like, he doesn't do redeemable things. And I can't let it go. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't let it go.
That's fair.
But
listen,
anyway,
fully fair.
Don't want to harp on the dad.
Listen,
great.
You're supposed to be on the side of the little girl, so I totally get it.
Yeah,
the movie is truly coming from her point of view.
Jerah is the reason that they put 4 years later on the screen.
They're like, someone's going to be mad about this guy.
If they wouldn't have said 4 years later, Jerah would have had more shit to say.
Like,
how long has it been? Has it been 2 months?
Listen, I get it, and you're right, Bray. It's from her point of view.
I hear what you're saying. I think if it really did happen like that, where it was like he brought her home that day, and then that night he told her like, "Hey, I'm getting engaged," like that, and he didn't even say it. He had like the brother is the one who said it. I do think that's messed up. I assumed because we had just seen 2 songs that like took us through a time lapse that the same thing was happening. Like it was like not the same day, but maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was that day.
I'm more so
and
mad
that
that he just. It's not necessarily that he's about to get married. I'm just more so upset that he like let the aunts diss the story that she loves so much, and then sat back down. Like. And I know the aunt was like, just let her go. It's like, that's your whole ass kid.
I thought that he was going to say something there too. It was a little frustrating that he doesn't even, because we've had this example of like him being like, because your mother believes that it's true. Like, because we heard him say that to her, like, I thought that he was going to speak up there and say something that like either, either supported Fei Fei or was like, against it, because he's now in a different place. Like either one of those actually would have accepted storytelling wise, but to say nothing was a little like, you ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I think it was like I felt it was like metaphor. Like he understood the metaphor. Not that she really believed that in this moon goddess, but that she believed in the principle of the story, which was like, don't ever let go of the love of your one true love. And he knew what she was trying to say, which was like, you shouldn't be getting with this other woman. And then
she goes, right, Dad?
Right. And he didn't want to, because then he was caught because he wanted to protect his daughter, but he also was like, hey, I have this new love interest. I'm trying to move on, so he froze up, he definitely froze up, but I get it, I get where you're coming from. Anyway, but here's the thing. She really did believe it, and then she tried to build a rocket ship to the moon, which is the most dangerous thing if we're actually talking about the logic of this movie. He needed to be like, no, it's not real. Don't try to build a rocket ship to the moon. You're gonna die.
Every test she did, the rocket went up and then immediately crashed. I was like, she's about to die. She has enough knowledge to get this thing to move, but she's gonna die. Like she's not gonna make it through this.
I love that they did like a montage of her trying to get the like literally trying to figure out astrophysics by herself.
Yes. Yes.
So she was trying to do rocket science by herself. Like we use that as a metaphor for something that is extremely hard. Like, hey, this isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, this is rocket science. I'm going to figure this out with no help. Like, I'm not even going to ask my teacher. And then she does.
And it's so funny because I was like, oh man, I can't wait. Okay. I did love when she finally got to work. She ended up on the moon, and then we see Chin. I think it was something about seeing them together because I really wanted them to like, again, I don't have a sibling, and so I kind of relate to Chin where it's like, I always wanted one. So there is something about like seeing him like forcefully like try to make sure that like, yo, you gotta like me. Like we're in this now. Yes. You gotta like me. So I was a little sad when they got split apart for most of the movie. It's like, oh, it'd been nice to see them do it together, but I really enjoyed when he crash landed And then we kind of see that no matter what was happening, even though she wasn't on board with him at first, he was always going through the movie trying to like defend and like help her, even though she probably had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like everything he was going through was to get the photo because the photo was going to help her like him. And then it went from that to like, oh, she's in this depressive state. I got to get in here to like get her out of this.
And there was also something too. Yep. I agree with you that like it would have been super nice to see them together. What I think was cool about the way that thing shook out in the movie was that even without him there, he was influencing her in ways that like she didn't realize until Gobi talked to her, you know, and like had he been there and doing it, it would have been a slightly different thing, you know. But that their relationship was already informing her behavior in a positive way. The other thing I want to say about Chin though, before we get too far into the movie, is I loved his frog. His frog was so funny when he first shows up and he's like throwing the frog around in his hands. The facial expression, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I stopped paying attention to the story and was just zeroing in on this frog who looked so cool, whose mouth kept flying open all the time. It was the way
his feet were sticking on everything.
Yes, the way they animated this frog was so funny. Oh, it was killing me. Okay, sorry. Now we're on the moon.
I like the frog a lot.
Yeah, we're on the moon, baby.
Well, she almost died, by the way. Because that part where she like gets all the way up and then is there like, and they're like, whoa, and then it like craps out and he starts falling, and then his brother's like, oh yeah, we're gonna die. And I love that they included this actual part of science where she was like, I didn't calculate your weight because it's so extremely rocket science is so precise. It's like if you add a little bit of an additional weight, it completely throws off the math.
That's right. I forgot that part.
And they were gonna die, but then the light beam kind of
the mystical lions.
Yes.
Come on, man, the lions, baby.
And then when they get on the moon
lions.
And Chonga pops out. First we see the moon cakes, the physical moon cakes come out and grab her and bring them to the queen.
You're here.
But when she comes out and sings this extra luminaria song, it was great. It was fantastic. And Kat loves Phillipa Soo. Loves. So the second she started singing, Kat was getting down. It was this
song is
whole
fire.
Song was,
it's such
and
a
she
fire
has
song.
A stadium full of people just screaming
cheering
for her, and and Jade Rabbit is there doing the music. That was so funny. He's just he's
Rabbit
doing the he's like her Tony on Ellen or whatever. Like, I thought that was so funny.
It was so fire, and it's so because I didn't realize. Did you guys know this was a musical? Did anybody know?
I didn't know going into it.
Yeah, I knew just because of the trailer, but
had no idea.
But that's Kimberly, we just did Jingle Jangle, which is also a musical.
Oh, I didn't know Jingle Jangle was a musical.
Yeah. We didn't know that either until we started watching it.
Interesting.
It's good. I mean, Netflix is doing really well with their
they're doing good
Netflix is
musicals that are not in white culture.
It's funny because Netflix is just taking over. Like even watching this movie, the fact that it looks so close to Pixar, but it's not. It's like Netflix is like, oh yeah, everything y'all love, we do that. You know, it's like, oh, you like them Lifetime Christmas movies? We do that. You like those reality TV love shows? Oh, we got that. It's like we got. Like you never need to look anywhere else. Oh,
yeah, I think that's Netflix's MO, right? Is like they want to be the supply. They want to replace television. Like they want to replace what we have known as television, like channels, right? Networks. They want to be the full replacement of all of that.
All of it.
They can't have everything.
I will say this again.
They can try.
My favorite sequence, and I'm rewatching it right now, is Hey Boy, because I think this sequence is so good because it's so telling of Chin's character, but also one, it's just a beautiful sequence. You know what I mean? To be truthfully honest,
It's so good.
The colors are so bright. I think the wardrobe stylings are so fire. Okay, it's like
Mhm.
it just looks so cool, and I really do like that. Like, is at this point, I was trying to figure out if, how do you say? It's cheap. I don't want to say it wrong. What's the goddess's name again? The woman in the moon.
Changa?
Changa.
I couldn't tell if she was going to turn into like a bad guy or something. At one point, I was like, "Ooh, is she going to be
Right.
corrupted by like being alone for so long?" So when she had this ping pong match, I was like, "Oh no, she's going to like make this little boy cry or something like that and get mean." But when he wins, and like, I don't know, I was like, "Oh, I like this movie doesn't have like a straight up villain. It's like almost we ourselves are the villain." It's like, yo, when we don't let things go, like when we can't move past it, when we get stuck in these patterns and stuff like that, it's that eternal thing. And I think some movies, it's really hard to do that in some movies, and some we've even reviewed. But in this one, I just thought it was so beautiful because it manifested into an actual visual place you get stuck. Like I feel like when people get depressed, like when you're at home, you may curl up on the couch in a fetal position, but to see like a person like floating in space in the fetal position, it just felt so visual, and I was like, "Damn, that's so real."
Yeah,
and to your point, they do a great job of balancing this out, because this is the moment when she locks him up, like she
she does
locks him up and
reneges on her bed.
Yes.
but then also in this same moment, it's when we see her cry and we see her tears turn into all those little cute creatures that we've seen. So there's like this thing of like where we see we now have a full understanding of like the manifestation of her grief is like it's all of these creatures we just saw screaming for her. So she's like we know how sad she really is. So they do a really good job of like of balancing that and showing like what the evil is here, or what the pain is here.
I love that they faced off in a ping pong tournament too. Like, I love that. That was the like, and I also love that when she started crying, they were like, let's calm down. We don't want another asteroid, like meteor shower.
Meteor shower.
Do some yoga, breathe and stretch, and then the one just goes and then rolls off to the side, which is just a silly, cute joke to make. And I was like, I'm here for it.
Wait, I'm trying to find a mooncake. I've never had one, and after hearing about it so much in the movie,
I want one too. I was like, I want a mooncake.
I just cleaned out our fridge, and there are 4 mooncakes that were just in the back.
Are you serious?
And I was like, Kat, there are 4 mooncakes in here. I've never seen you eat a mooncake. There are 4 in here.
A
they were on
mooncake
different shelves. Okay, sorry.
It's different than a moon pie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't really like moon pies, but I think I would like a moon cake. I feel like I would like a moon cake. They looked very tasty. I was also thinking, I was like, because I've been watching a lot of Great British Baking Show, and I was like, why don't they make mooncakes for Great British Baking Show? That should be a challenge.
They should. I think that would be a great addition.
Do they make delicacies like that are to other cultures on Great British Baking Show?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They recently had a Japanese week, but then
they did.
There was apparently there was some controversy because some of the bakes that they had were not really Japanese. They were just like Asian. And they were like, why call it Japanese week if you're not actually just going to do...
Right. Yeah. Just call it Asian week, for God's sake.
Yeah, just call it Asian week.
Oh man, I gotta find one. Sorry, I'm in a hole trying to look up.
Yeah, these mooncakes look
so good.
I'm looking at them now.
I'm in a dark hole.
They do. They look tasty.
Okay, guys.
Sorry, James. We don't have them just in our fridge, okay?
Yeah, I got a bunch.
All right. Jeez.
I actually have enough for everybody on this call.
Please give us a mooncake.
All right.
So she's basically like, hey, whoever finds my gift, and we don't know what the gift is. She's like, whoever finds my gift, I'll grant them any wish. She wants her photo. Fei Fei wants the photo of the goddess so that she could bring it to her dad. And then we get the biker chicks which is a fun. And they were the bad guys, the biker chicks.
Yeah, that's like the only real like villain character, I suppose, right?
Yeah, they were villains.
But also they were told
you could
to
tell
get it,
you were
though.
like, I don't trust them.
But they were told, hey, like, hey, if you can, whoever
Yeah,
finds
but it was like it.
But they
It's
ditched
not like
her.
they're inherent. It's not like the biker chicks are inherently evil or something, but
No.
they were like
bad.
really selfish in this moment, you know. And they were
They're like,
They
bye.
were.
You got us the gift. All right, great. We're gonna take it. And we're gonna go back. And we're gonna leave your ass here. That's not
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
true.
All four of them could have brought it back.
That's right.
They were like, nah. They were like, nah.
They
We're
just
not
leave her behind.
They just leave her behind. And after she got them there, not only did she tell them where to go, but she was the one who was brave enough to be like, we can make it through this meteor shower.
Yeah. If it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have done it.
They
They
would've
would have
turned
turned
back.
around. They
Get
would have
X
never
out.
gotten the gift. That's true.
Bad biker
Um,
chicks.
And we meet Gobi Gobi is just at the ship.
Just at her ship, riding the lunar rover. Apparently the original lunar rover.
Because he sang that song.
Yes.
He sang that song.
Yes.
And that, which was so great, by the way.
Full circle.
Immediately when
It
he was
is,
like,
yeah.
I
Full
got
circle.
exiled because I sang her this song.
Wow.
And then you immediately were like, oh my God, this song is going to be about how she needs to move on. And then when she's like, oh, what song did you sing? He's going to sing it to her,
Sometimes they get
to Fei Fei. And Fei Fei's also going to be
sometimes
like,
sometimes
man,
they
I don't
get
want
a
to hear
little
this song. You get out of here with your song. I love this song.
Yeah, it was good.
I was a
Ken
little
Jeong,
scared too, because
with
I
that
was like,
voice.
oh no, is Ken going to be able to? But
he had
it
that
was,
voice, baby.
it was great. I feel like, there's probably a little bit of.
They juiced it up a little bit, but it was cool though.
Yeah.
They Roger and zapped
A
it.
little
You know what I'm
auto-tuning,
saying?
but
they had
it
that
was still
auto-tune
great.
in there.
Yeah, man.
But that's
Listen,
all
it's
right.
not about that. It's not about that. We didn't see him. It doesn't. Look, you can get help. Listen, in
You can
Aladdin,
get
Jonathan
help.
Taylor Thomas wasn't singing. I mean, the dude from Full House, he didn't sing it.
Listen, we all know Zac Efron got that golden throat, but they didn't even let him sing in that first
Are you
First
serious?
High School Musical. That is not his voice in the First High School
What?
Musical. They wanted a tenor, and he wasn't a true tenor. He was like a baritone, or he's like a baritone or something. So it's somebody else's voice. And if you go back and listen, it doesn't sound as good. No shade to the dude who sang it, but it doesn't sound like Zac Efron. Like it doesn't, like there's something to his voice, and the first High School Musical is not him. So we get it. It's cool, do what you got to do. But this is all Ken. This is Ken, baby.
Wow. I had
And it
no
was
idea.
good. It wasn't like
had
a
no
Back
idea.
to the Future moment, right? Where Michael J. Fox at the end, it's clearly not his voice. Like, so clearly him not singing that song.
Wow.
I did have a question. I did have a moment where I questioned if that was Ken Jeong's voice actually singing.
Yeah.
I was like, is it? It sounds really nice.
I know. Yeah, it's either. I mean, he got help somehow, some way. There was some help with
He
that
had
song.
help by his own talent and skill and the life that has led to this moment where he could perfectly sing wonderful and get through that.
Yeah, James. Yeah, James.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he sang that song. He sang. Wait, but what was he again?
Meanwhile, wait, what?
What kind of character? Like, what was he? Like, what was
He was just one of the moon creatures, one of her tears.
Wow.
Meanwhile, while this is happening, though, her rabbit is falling for Jade Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we saw that
And-
coming.
Yeah,
That was very sweet.
And they and she gets some powers. She gets some bunny powers. Cat fully missed this. She didn't see the powers until way later. I was like, how did you not see it? She didn't see it until the bunny tried to open the door at the end. I was like, the bunny bit
And she was like, wait, what?
Hilarious.
Dude, I love that the bunny got lightning ears. Like, that was so cool. I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
I wanted her to go back with Fifi, though. I didn't want her to
because
say.
the real story,
No.
what was
She
really
had to.
happening on Earth was just the bunny ran away and she couldn't find the bunny, and she never
Yeah.
goes to the moon. She just searches for the bunny, and Chen comes out and tries to help her, and she realizes like, wow, I should move on, and This is the story on Earth.
It's so sad.
That is what's happening, James. You're absolutely right.
It's so sad. She gets the bunny. I get it. I just wanted the bunny to go back. Like, honestly, when she said, you can stay here if you want, I remember I audibly was like, the fuck? That bunny coming with you. Like, that bunny. Not only did your mom give you this bunny got powers, so this bunny can protect you for the rest of your life. You better take this bunny.
The bunny didn't actually have powers, though.
The bunny had powers. I saw it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
This Jade Bunny, what do we know about this Jade Bunny?
He's a dope DJ. My man is a dope DJ, and
first off,
he got magical powers. You saw him with the powers and stuff.
Jade Bunny was super shady when we first met him. What did he do to change the shadiness? What happened?
He dropped the beat, son. That's what he did.
The Lady Bunny is the one. Her love made the spell work. Okay, that wasn't Jade Bunny. Jade Bunny coming that thing bouncing around like he did it himself. Passed it off and was smiling. That wasn't you, Jade Bunny. That wasn't Jade Bunny. I don't trust Jade Bunny either. Controversial. Don't bang with Jade Bunny.
You hate every male character in the movie except Jin.
Don't like. And we got to make sure Jin stays with Fei Fei before he get corrupted like the rest of these dudes.
Jade made all of the tears turn into physical beings.
Where's the proof?
We literally see him take a tear. That's fine. It's cool. It's cool. I get it. I wouldn't want to trust him either. I kept having the trouble with the age difference. I was like, this dude is a millennia years old. He's marrying this 4-year-old rabbit. What is
the age difference?
I sincerely couldn't get over it the whole time. Right. I was uncomfortable with that.
I love it. I love how much you guys were thinking about the magical Jade Bunny. And the bunny with electric ears.
Listen, I cared
and
about the
romance.
Bunny. I cared about that bunny with electric ears. I didn't want to see her get hurt. Honestly, I didn't trust. I didn't, because that bunny, Jay Bunny, had done nothing. This movie, the dudes in this movie keep getting passes, okay? And unless you out here like Chin, risking your life, you get no pass from me, okay? The dad, no pass. Jay Bunny,
the dad waited up all night. He didn't know where they were. He was so scared. Don't.
All right.
That man had a soda pop. He was chilling. I mean, he looked nervous. I ain't see no tear. You know what? Let me leave the dad alone. Maybe I got dad issues. I'm taking out on this dad. But he didn't do enough daddy things for me. That's not... He didn't do enough daddy things for me, so I'm done. He's cut off for me.
I love that. Jerah, you and I specifically have done...
I got daddy.
You and I specifically have done nothing more than shit on dad characters in movies. And it took this episode for you to say, maybe I have dad.
Oh,
we have been.
Nah, that's not what it's about.
Dad, it's about this dad. This dad. I think my problem is that at the end of the movie, okay, the movie's great, but at the end of this movie, she was so forgiving. She was so forgiving, and nobody in this movie to me, in the human world, had done enough to earn this forgiveness. And I was like, why is she so kind to these people? No one apologized for shit. At no point, even if this was like one of those Disney movies, somebody would apologize. It'd be quick, but it'd be an apology. Nobody apologized to this little girl. They just were like,
the dad's apology was when she laughs at the end, and then he says, "You laugh just like your mother."
Oh,
don't you say that to me?
Yeah, no, that was the apology, and then they do the moon mush thing, like what's Jade Rabbit making tonight? Moon mush, and then that's the callback. That was the.
Well, here's the thing. We never really got from her that the thing she was upset about was the fact that her dad was remarrying. It wasn't really how it happened or like the timing or anything. Right. She was just upset that her dad was remarrying, period, because she didn't want her dad to forget about her mom. I do think we could have had a little speech from the dad where he was like, where he very directly said, I'll never forget about your mother. Like, I'm always going to love your mother. And, and we can move on, like, and I think that should be the real takeaway is like, you can still hold on to your love without, or at least you can still remember your love without like, being stuck in the past and not continuing and growing.
I think that is the real takeaway. In fact, isn't there that shot? I could be wrong, but the shot when she's back on Earth, clearly time has jumped. They've gotten married. We see the wedding photo with the new stepmom. Don't we also see the photo of the mom on that same wall? Or did I hallucinate that?
Oh, maybe.
I was hurt by that point. I was like, man, looking at this new family. Right,
in all fairness,
wait, you didn't like the new family after she after she realized
Jerah was so on board with the original. What Fei Fei was like, no new family. You don't move on. Screw this new.
I just didn't want her to be the only. You know what it is? I just think I got sad that she's the only one who had to like change, and I think that bothered me. Like no one else had to. I think that bothered me.
But everybody changed. But the dad had changed in off screen. We didn't see it. Like what his experience happened off screen between, the year when the mom, the 4 years, in that 4 years, that was the dad's growth. But we missed that. We didn't get to see that.
Listen, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm just saying. I'm just talking to y'all. Okay,
no,
nobody
you're right.
This is staying between us. Okay,
I hear you, man.
Fei Fei is pretty mean in the beginning. I don't know if you recall, but she's very cutting. She cuts the stepmom on several occasions, and the stepmom never speaks up or even like makes an angry face. Like Fei Fei's pretty. She has to go through a transformation, right? Because she's angry. She's holding in all this hurt.
Fei Fei at home, okay? Fei Fei is at home. This new woman in the house trying to put new ingredients into the moon cake.
That actually was a great introduction to this character.
I loved that symbolism.
The first thing we see is just their dates. Red dates.
You trying to change my mom's moon cake?
What shit is this?
Immediately coming in here.
We just see the dates. That's not mom's recipe.
Like what is this?
Oh yeah.
You all in the kitchen? Could you
reveal whole ass other woman?
And then the dad over here looking all like a puppy dog, like he don't know what's going on.
I also loved that. I don't know why I didn't look, man. We predict movies pretty easily sometimes. I had no clue that the gift was going to be the moon cake or inside the moon. Like
I knew immediately.
I only knew when she pulled out the moon cake after they were like, I only have this and this, and I was like, oh, it's the moon cake.
When she gave her the moon cake, I said to Kat, it has magical properties. And she was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Wow.
and then with the gift, I was just like, "Yeah, that's it, baby." But did she bring it? We didn't see her bring it. All right, I'll wait. I'll see.
Fine.
You were so right.
Fine. I get it. But I'm like, you just don't come in the kitchen. And me and my mom used to make moon cakes and then just start making moon cakes with new ingredients. You just moved in. Like, you know what I'm saying? You moved in.
I don't know if she just moved in at that point, though, did she?
The moment you touched the kitchen,
you moved in.
You moved
all
in.
your shit's in the house. The U-Haul truck's outside. You just moved in.
Hey, sis. You here now. Clearly, everybody know info I don't know yet. That's
oh, but the symbolism of that amulet, right, is so beautiful when it comes together and it represents Chang'e and Hoi, their two, their two loves combining, but also the idea of like the past and the present, the two moms, and I don't know, I like it.
No, it was beautiful.
Tessa talked about the symbolism of what was it called? At the end when the lights go out, with they basically successfully get the jade stone and the potion works. She sees her, the moon goddess sees her lover, but then she's like, But then he just disappears. He's like, I can't stay. You have to move on. And then all the lights go out. And then she's trapped in what is the prison called?
Yes.
Prison of sadness or something.
Oh, yeah.
something
Yeah.
What was
like
that called?
that. Of despair or something.
It was depressing. That was weird.
Yeah.
It was very
But
sad.
but she's like, I can go in and save her. And they were like, no, if you go in there, you might get trapped and you'll never come out. And then she goes in, and Tessa turns to me and she's like, you have to go in. You have to face the sadness. That's the only way to be able to come out. And I was like, no, she's going to get trapped.
And she did.
You never go into the sadness box.
And she
Pretend
did.
it's not there.
Pretend it's not there.
Pushing it down there forever.
No. Oh my gosh.
Don't do it.
I did love.
Stay angry. Stay mad.
This is the worst.
This is
Oh,
terrible
Bray.
mental health advice.
It is.
Absolutely.
This is all bad. We've all
It's
come
a
into
better
this
help
with a
ad.
lot.
Remember,
with
we're
this episode.
sponsored.
It's a better help ad with
It better be a better help ad in this one, because this, like, we all just came through a lot of stuff in this episode.
No shit.
No, but there was something the whole time. I'm like, all right, Chin is gonna have to bust through something. I'm like,
Yeah.
the mere fact that we
Yes.
saw him like, I can go through walls at the very first one, he's got to go through something. And when the moment he busts through the walls, and just says, I want my sister back. And I was like, oh, brother, no. Man, it was,
I
it
weep.
was so,
He's breaking down barriers, man.
Literally
No
and
barriers.
figuratively.
but he had the superhero, like he was just screaming, I want my sister back. And you see her just like this, looking up slow. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
This is too much.
This is why I had
Man.
a mental breakdown.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. That scene, guys, I can't even. Whew, it's hot.
It's
It's hot. The scene
Open
was so
window.
good
Whew, it's
because you
hot.
knew it was coming.
Yeah,
Because
it's hot in
the
here.
bunny couldn't get, like, the bunny was close but couldn't get in. And then when he did it, I was like, yeah, man, of course, this is how she gets out. Of course, it has to be the love that she didn't realize she wanted or needed is
Mhm.
here to help her overcome her issues. And it's
Absolutely.
like, boom. Yeah, man. How's it end?
It's really I love the sibling relationship in this, or the burgeoning sibling relationship in this, because I think we often, when we see stories about new families coming together, whether that's like a step mom and a step family, we don't ever really see this part where they can truly become your family, where they can feel like blood, where it's the family you never knew you wanted or needed. It's often very contentious. It's often very like unwelcomed, which, Fei Fei is unwelcoming in the very beginning of this story. But the fact that they'll have each other now, I think is just so freaking sweet.
Seriously,
Yeah.
yeah. It's so I completely agree. It's so nice to have a step sibling relationship that isn't like the evil step
Right.
brother,
Yeah.
evil step
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah,
Right.
that was great.
You know,
Right.
and it's
she
like,
go-
hey, yeah,
And he goes, am I still a dingbat? Which she's been calling him the whole movie. And she goes, yeah, but you're my dingbat. Which is
Oh.
like, that was perfect.
Ah,
It's so sweet.
and it
he
was
was-
nice at the end where they're like, she sees her family and they're all eating together.
Oh,
You know,
that closing montage of her like literally looking around the table at each person had me sobbing. And because that's one of those moments, I think, beautiful, show it, don't say it, right? Where at that moment she is realizing, oh my God, I'm literally surrounded by love.
Yeah.
I'm literally surrounded by people who love me. Like at the circular table, I can literally look around at each person and see how much people love me. And even though I don't have my mother anymore, look at all the people who I still have here.
Yeah. I just wanted, this is the one, and this is dumb for me to want this, but I just wanted one more shot. I know we had the moment with her and the new mom right before this, the moon cake or the circle table. The moon cake is a symbol of family. But then as she's looking around, I just wanted her to turn to the side and look at her differently. And like, see her looking at her differently. That's all I wanted. It didn't happen. Point. And it's fully fine that it doesn't happen because we get an example of them coming together like this. They say sit between us and, right in this moment. But I would have loved that. I would have, now it's like she's not looking at her the way she was looking at her at the beginning. She's,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good directorial cut right there.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
Very much.
I have to be honest. Dates and Mooncake sounds really good.
Wow.
And like, this is no shade to the original.
No, this is no shade. No shade to the mother.
You never even had a mooncake.
I'm just saying, I've never had a mooncake, but it sounds really good, and I just feels like she should try something new. I don't know.
Wow. You just out
I'm
here.
just saying.
You know what?
Try something new. Love someone new.
Love someone new. Love something new.
Yeah.
Man.
And then the when she's at they're back at the lake. Or the river and
the stork.
Flies.
Oh yeah.
And
brushes
her hair.
That's the mom.
That's the mom.
That was the mom.
That's what I said.
Yes, that was the mom.
I said that's her mom. And then Tessa was like, why? Why would you say that? And I was like, it just clearly is.
I know. I thought the same thing. Like, yeah,
it just is her mom.
It just obviously is her mom.
Aww.
That bird, that very common bird, is her mom.
There are literally 9 others, but that one
her though
is her mom.
That one is her mom. I was like, no, that stork was there when she went on her adventure. She was looking over her the whole time. It's the mom.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Guys, the only thing I would say to Hollywood is I hope that once the world opens up, we can do one of these things that we can do a dual release. So I think this movie was wonderful. I'm very happy to have seen it in the comfort of my own home. But I also think this movie would have been so beautiful to watch with a bunch of kids, again, in a movie theater. To me, I bring this up all the time. I don't think I've ever seen a sight like it before, but watching Coco in a damn near sold out theater and all those little kids, and there was a little kid behind me who goes, he looks like you. Like the sister said that to the brother, and I was like, there is something to that. And I'm like,
that's magic.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't, because I think Hollywood is like, because of Netflix, people are branching out and doing more projects because the return for the money is a little bit different. But I don't want kids at least, to lose out on that wonderment and magic of not being able to be in a packed theater with their friends eating popcorn and see something like this. Again, I just imagine, I watched the credits and I'm like, there's something to seeing these kids after a movie. Like, James, you worked in a movie theater. I did too. There's something about seeing these kids line up in the aisles singing and dancing. Speaking of High School Musical,
I worked at a movie theater when Coco came out.
Oh wow!
I was at this was during CBS, it was amazing to see. It was a nightmare to clean.
Oh, it's terrible to clean. It's terrible to clean, but it's so.
But
fun.
It was amazing to see.
I remember working at a movie theater when High School Musical 3 came out, and they had a sing along component to it.
Oh no!
And so kids wouldn't leave after the theater because they would just be singing the songs. Like, they would go to the front and just start singing and dancing and just having a good time. And I'm like, I just imagine kids seeing this movie and doing the same. And it's like, I just want to make sure that like kids don't get to lose that wonderment. I just think like there's reasons we all want to be in TV and movies. Like there's a thing that we saw that made us go like, that is awesome. And I just want to make sure that like we don't get lazy to an extent. I think like it's really cool to watch this stuff at home, but again, I think there's something about a movie theater that just is different.
I feel like people are going to pack theaters when the opportunity is safe and available, because like, they've been talking about the demise of movie theaters for decades, right? And movie theaters have been able to hold their own. Unfortunately, a pandemic probably will be killing quite a few theaters across the country and around the world, but I just think there's something about like you said, Jerah, like being in the movie theater, it's magical. Like going and seeing these Pixar films as a grown ass woman, I love seeing Pixar films in the theater. And I will go, whatever during the matinee when the kids are there. And half of the joy is just hearing them react and hearing them say the crazy shit that comes out their mouths when they see something because they're not filtered. And you can hear them experiencing the magic of it. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a wild and crazy time when people can pack theaters again. People are just going to be off their rockers. If they were rowdy before, I think they're going to be even rowdier.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah. And I hope so too, that people return to movie theaters, because like Avengers Endgame, I mean, I know that that's a singular film. There's no other movie like that will exist again, but was just last year, and broke all the records.
Right,
like just everybody went to the movies to see that.
Right.
Everybody. If you didn't go to the movies, you went to the movies and saw that. So hopefully people will come back.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Cool.
Oh, well, then going back to Netflix too, like Netflix, they actually, before the pandemic, they bought a theater here in Hollywood because they want to test drive this idea of like, they even realize themselves, oh yeah, we have to be a part of the movie theater. We have to have a stake in that. Yeah. Because it's not enough to just have the at-home experience. So even Netflix is keen on that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So,
awesome. Well, if James doesn't have anything to say.
No, I don't. So Kim, I don't know if you know this, but I used to do a bit. I used to normally do like a bit right now.
To tell her.
But I don't do bits anymore.
All right, cool. You don't have to tell her.
So,
is this a bit?
Great.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually not a bit. I know that's so funny that you say that,
time.
because that's what they've been saying. Like at this point, like, is this a bit? Me telling you that I don't do it.
That you don't do bits.
But I don't do
it's not
that.
a bit.
So John can start.
Because I don't do bits anymore.
Can John go to the end now?
No, because I just wanted to make sure it was clear. Everybody's clear, right? That I don't do bits
so
anymore.
John is going to do that. He's going to do the end. Kim
Clear.
knows. We all know.
Cool.
Are you done?
I am.
Are you mad?
I'm not mad.
So why are you looking around the room like something?
I don't do bits anymore though. So.
All right, we know that.
Okay.
I don't.
So can we move on?
Okay. Hey, what's up, everyone? This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. James, you remember the days when you were just always ready to go?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. That was a long time ago. It was a long time. I'm gonna be honest. It's been a while. Is there a way for me to increase my performance and get that extra confidence in bed? By going to BlueChew.com?
Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis.
Yeah, you can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill. So you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
I don't like that. Blue Chew is prescribed online by licensed physicians, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office or wait in line at the pharmacy, especially because it's COVID. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. Oh no, I did it too.
I know what you're doing. Okay, right now we've got a special offer for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our promo code, which is Hollywood. So again, you go to BlueChew.com, that's BLUE Chew.com, and use the promo code Hollywood to try it for free. You're just going to pay $5 shipping.
Remember, Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. When you support our sponsors, you help make this podcast possible. So please make sure to use the promo code Hollywood at BlueChew.com. All right, guys, it is December, which means we can officially start watching Christmas movies.
Yes. Oh, but what if you go to Netflix and discover your favorite movie isn't available? That's right. Get ready to have your mind blown. You can use ExpressVPN to watch any Netflix library in the world.
Listen, guys, we use ExpressVPN to stream our favorite Christmas classics, which is actually Great British Baking Show episodes that are not available on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's really simple. You just open the app, you hit one button to change your location, you refresh Netflix, and that's it.
You see, ExpressVPN lets you control where you want sites to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 countries. So just imagine all the Netflix libraries you can explore.
And of course, it's not just Netflix. The ExpressVPN works with any streaming service. Disney Plus, Hulu, BBC iPlayer, you name it. There are hundreds of VPNs out there, but the reason we use ExpressVPN to watch movies and shows is because it's ridiculously fast. There's never any buffering, and you can always stream in HD.
Yes, and you can use it on all kinds of devices, phones, tablets, media consoles, smart TVs. So listen, if you visit our special link, which is expressvpn.com/Hollywood, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Support the show. Watch what you want and get your holiday fix at expressvpn.com/Hollywood.
It's time for the cause.
Okay, great.
Great. We rate and review films not based on how much we like them, but whether or not they help the cause of more leading actors of color in films. If we feel like the film truly helped the cause, we give it a black fist. We feel like it somewhat helped the cause, we give it a white palm. We feel like, nah, this didn't help the cause at all. We don't give it anything. Okay, so on the count of 3, we'll lift up our ratings for Over the Moon. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All fists.
All fists.
I mean,
I gave it
you
2
have
fists.
That's not how it works.
And I hope Cathy gets a lot of, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I hope she gets to do a whole bunch of other things too.
Absolutely.
This film was awesome. Deserves all the fists. You know, incredibly packed cast. I mean, honestly, here's the thing that people don't realize. It wasn't even that long ago when, what's that movie came out? Of course, I'm blanking on the name.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. It was like a movie that also had to do with like Asian folklore, and
all of the white cast,
it was
the whole white cast,
almost like entirely white cast.
Wait, let me look.
And it came out like
Scarlett
2016.
Johansson must have been in that. She's staying in movies about. Yes.
Was it Kubo?
Yes, Kubo and the Two Strings.
It was Charlize Theron, not
and
Scarlett Johansson.
Rooney Mara was in it.
Oh God!
And the kid
George
was Art
Takei
Pattinson.
was in it.
Oh, they gave us
George Takei.
one. Cool.
And
They gave you one.
No, and Carrie Hiroyuki Tagawa.
But too.
Yeah, but they weren't the main characters. The main characters
they weren't at all.
Art Parkinson, who you don't remember, but he's this little kid who was in San Andreas. The movie San Andreas with The Rock. Charlize Theron, Matthew McConaughey, Ray Fiennes, Rooney Mara, like
God.
Yeah.
Kill me.
And yeah, this movie came out in 2016. 2016.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So just to have a movie with a movie that's telling an Asian centric story with an Asian cast is new.
No, it's true.
In Hollywood.
It's so true. I remember looking at the IMDb yesterday being like, oh my God, it's all Asians. Like, I was very happy. I was smiling from ear to ear because, like, yeah, I mean, you know, are half the actors not technically Chinese? Like, yeah, but they're Asian. Like, and they were all fantastic. They're all fantastic. And I don't know. I am one of those people who's like, I don't know why this is so hard. Why is it so hard to cast people of that culture or adjacent to that culture in these roles? So I was very happy to see this Asian cast, and no beef, no shade with Awkwafina, but Awkwafina was also not in it, which I was like, thank God. Because again, nothing against Awkwafina, but I feel like Hollywood does this thing where it's like, oh, we found one Asian and she's funny and we're going to cast her in everything. And so to not see Awkwafina build in this, I was like, good. Good. I'm glad we can have a movie with Asians in it, and it doesn't have to have Awkwafina in it.
Right. Kubo. How'd they have a red carpet for this? I'm looking at the red carpet photos.
Oh yeah, man.
You can't.
It's crazy because it's like I liked that movie. I remember feeling so betrayed because I saw that movie in theaters, being like, "Oh, this seems really cool." And I watched it. I was like, even though some of the voices were weird, I was like, man, this was a really cool story. Like, really, I love the visuals. And then then when the credits rolled, I was like, what?
Web of lies.
And it's one of those things where it's like, is it Hollywood executives going, well, we have to have names. We have to have big names for Kubo?
1,000%.
Really?
Which is the most ridiculous thing because I've always said this. Anytime I go to see an animated movie, I rarely ever know who's in it.
Right.
And I don't know who the voices
cares?
are until the end of the movie.
Right.
Even if I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar, I'm still like, I have no idea who that is. Like when I was watching Kubo, I was like, is that George Clooney? And it was Matthew McConaughey. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like you don't...
No,
did John Mulaney do that joke in his show when he like it wasn't a joke, it was just like a bit where he just asked the kids that were on the show like, how do you feel about, like Kevin Hart being the voice in The Secret Life of Pets or whatever it is that he was asking, and like they don't know
or care. They're like, I don't know who those people are. Whoever is famous is the thing that you put in front of me and the thing that I like, which is that means now. Like, you know, like.
I can't imagine any
so
audience
annoying.
member being like, "Oh, Charlize Theron is in that is the voice of you know what I mean?" In Kubo, I'm going.
Yes,
I'm going to attend. I will see this movie.
Kubo didn't even do that well in the box office, and they probably spent so much money
on these names,
all this voice talent that didn't do anything to get this film seen more.
Yeah,
and then what? You know what I mean? And then you still perpetuated this thing. So the excuse that they used of like, well, we have to do it to get more people to see it wasn't even real. And then I was like, and then I didn't tell people to see it because of the voice cast. Right. I was like, you know what I mean? Yes. I was like, I can't in good merit be like, yeah, go see this movie, even though I really did like it. I thought it was great. And however they borrowed all of the elements, anyway, whatever. We don't need to talk about Kubo. We're talking about Over the Moon. And Over the Moon was great.
I loved it.
Fantastic.
I think more people should watch it. I remember it came out and they had billboards for it around, but I didn't see. But I feel like I don't know. Maybe I don't watch enough kids stuff. I didn't see it, in my like new hottest thing. But it's so good. So I'm happy we watched this. I would have never done it outside of this podcast. I'm very, very happy we picked this movie. Or so anyway, yeah, that's it.
Great. Kimberly, thank you so much for guesting with us today.
Thanks for having
is there
me.
anything that people can they follow you on social? Anything you'd like to promote? I know there's literally no such thing as live shows anymore.
No, yeah, exactly. You can come see my live show at outside the Starbucks. No, I'm kidding. I have a co-host a podcast called Crush Fictionally, where we talk about fictional characters from movies and TV shows that we love. So we had James III as a guest on our podcast. So yeah, definitely follow us at Crush Fictionally, or you can follow me. It's just Kim True, and that's TRU on Instagram or Twitter, although I'm terrible at Twitter, so there's no use in following me there.
Amazing. Yes, you can follow us at Black Men Podcasts on Instagram and Twitter. blackmenpodcast.com is our website where we have links to some merch. We also have a defunct Patreon account. We stopped doing new episodes, but there's a year's worth of episodes on there. So if you've never subscribed to it, you can listen to all of them and then unsubscribe. And if you rate and review us on iTunes and give us 5 stars, we'll read your review on the air. You can follow me at John Braylock.
You can follow me at James Third Comedy. Third is 3RD.
You can follow me at Jerah Milligan on Twitter and Instagram.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production, produced by Melissa D. Montz, executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. To listen to this podcast ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus. Check out video clips of our podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/foreverdogteam. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Forever Dog Team to keep up with all the latest Forever Dog news.